everyone, and welcome to the Houston Element Podcast. My name is Missy, and I'm your host. And today, I have the lovely pleasure to introduce another one of Houston's finest from another field we have yet to bring on the podcast. I'm proud to say we're bringing on our first published author, Miss Chanequa Monroe.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure, man. I'm a big bookworm, so it's wonderful to get an author on the podcast finally.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am an author, entrepreneur. I'm also a wife and a mother. So this is actually my first book. So I'm pretty excited. We have some new things going on, especially with myself, just putting myself out there. So I'm just grateful just to be here.
Well, that's wonderful, man. And it's great to meet another person from a different field, Not to say that I don't appreciate the artists that have come on, though, but me being a big bookworm and things like that, it's really wonderful to have someone like yourself on the podcast.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're talking about your book today that you've released, and it's now available on Amazon, called My Experience Inside the Church Walls to My Reality Outside the Church Walls. So can you tell us a little bit about what the book is about?
So it's just basically about my life experience going through church. And then it's just going through the different stages of how I had to deal with different things outside of church. And it was really complicated just to transition, especially from being a teen mother to being an adult. So I just had to do this because it started as a journal. So, and then after that, it just went on. I was like, well, maybe I can help others that may be in my same predicament. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And what made you decide to write this book?
Well, back in April 2021, I actually went to the doctor and because I was a smoker, smoked for about 16 years, and they were trying to put me on heart medication. And I was only 33. I remember telling the doctor, I'm like, I'm only 33. And so she was like, but you got to use this. But one of the things that I did, I went to my mother and she was like, well, you know better. I don't know why you do this. And then when I went to my mother-in-law, she was like, oh, you just need to walk. That's all you need to do. And that started my whole journey with, just trying to figure out what was going on with me because I was angry. I was that angry Black woman. I didn't respect others just like I would want to be respected. So I had to figure out what it was that was going on with me and try to figure things out and why. And that's what was causing my hypertension and my heart rate to go up and me starting to smoke and stuff like that. So I had to do some changes.
Oh, I know how that is, man. I'm trying to avoid getting put on blood pressure medication right as we speak. And I'm like, no, I know there's natural remedies. It's okay. We're going to figure it out.
Yes.
And so how long did it take for you to write your book?
It took from September all the way to April. So it took a while because I had some things going on as well. So it didn't really, I don't know what's the time limit for normal authors, but that was just journaling that whole time. And then I was like, okay, let me push pause. This should be enough just for right now. So that's when it was just like a couple of months.
Excellent. And so what was your writing process like? Were there times where you had to take a break and take a breather and reflect and then go on to the next chapters?
Yes, especially in January. January 6th is where I lost my sister.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that was a big blow, but it was like I had to keep writing because I had to get our story out there because that's most of my life has been with my sister. Mm-hmm. So that's what kept pushing me. It kept pushing me. It was like, hey, it was like she kept speaking to me, hey, I'm still here. You got to keep living for me. So that's how I was able to keep writing. At first I was like, no, I can't do this. And then I was like, nah, I got to do it for her, Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences.
Thank you. Thank you.
But they're never gone. Their body may be gone, but their spirit is forever here.
And that's what I had to learn as well, because I wasn't taught that, in church. It was my dad, especially, he would say, once you're gone, you're gone. Mm-hmm. But it's like when my sister passed, it was like, nah, I can't believe that. I still feel her with me. So that's what I had to learn, what you just said. And I was only 34 when I learned that. So it was like, okay, let me keep going. Let me see what it is, so.
Time is relevant. So it's better late than never.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so in your book, you talked about how growing up, you and your family attended church Monday through Sunday. So 7 days a week. So what was your experience like?
Well, the reason why we did that is because my dad was the head deacon of the church, and he was the pastor's right-hand man. So he was there for everything. And it was a lot. And I mean, it was other kids there too, but we made fun. I would pass time by, if you came to the church, and, people would actually look at me because I would make fun and make jokes and things like that. Or they couldn't wait till church was over with, Chanequa, can you do this again? Or can you imitate this person again? So that's how I pass time, because I love to make others laugh. Mm-hmm. So, but it was a lot, because I really didn't get to experience what a normal child would have done. Like, I wanted to play basketball outside of, playing for the church. Like, I played for the church and singing. My sister, she sung, and I had to sing as well. So just keeping that pressure on us. Oh, if you don't do this, then you're not going to do this. And it's like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. And that was all the way until I was 30.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned how you had choir practice this day, then Bible study this day, and then actual sermon this day. I mean, my goodness.
Yes. Revivals. Oh, my gosh. Late at night. Sometimes, like, my parents and other parents, they would actually stay all the way until the sun came up.
Oh, my goodness.
And we would be asleep. Mind you, it was other extracurricular activities for us kids. We were getting in trouble, but parents didn't know.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they didn't know what was going on.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no. I had to do what I called a church Burning Man, because it was like a week-long 24/7 streaming of the services during Christmas break. And I mean, I swear I know all the songs now.
Yes. Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
My goodness. And so in your book, you mentioned that you came from a big family with lots of siblings. And are you still close with them today?
No. No, I'm not. Not at all. So it's, yeah, that was another portion, that, I had to get over, because at the time, it was going on 6 years, my brothers, it was really my brothers, they just stopped talking to us. And I think it might have contributed because of how we were raised. It was just a lot. And then I didn't understand why they didn't want to talk to me, because I was always the one like, no, keep the family together, jeopardizing my own children because they really didn't have me, but I really didn't have that kind of teaching from my parents, because I didn't know. I just knew that, I wanted that feeling back of having a family. So, but after my sister passed, it was like, I need to start living for me. I need to start living for, my family that I have, my husband, my children, so, and that's really what it is. I know they wanted to have that relationship back, but right now, I can't give it right now. It's still some trauma there. Yeah.
And, not to speak out of turn, but you can't, put yourself in everybody's shoes, no matter how close, you can only understand their personal feelings to such an extent, regardless of family or friends or whatever.
Right.
But, one thing that I heard, and I'm going to quote Miss RuPaul, okay, that she said, you pick your family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So just even if you're not close with one, you can still make family where you make it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it surprises me that when I did make that step, because it was like something was just telling me, hey, they didn't want to accept you, but guess what? You can find your own community.
Yes.
And so ever since then, I've been finding so many different people that we come from different backgrounds, but however, we're like more family than most. Like we understand each other. Oh, you didn't feel good where you were? I didn't either. You know, I don't even talk to my high school friend. And that's how it's been. I've been meeting so many wonderful people that are in our corner. Like, it's amazing.
Yes.
It really is amazing.
Yes. I mean, family is a blessing, but that doesn't have to mean that they're blood necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And that's what I thought. That's what I thought. However, you know, I do think that right now I just need to learn how to heal the childlike Chanequa, the inner Chanequa, and then I will be able to come back, because I don't want to come back to my family, you know, mean or mad or hateful or anything, because I'm all about love. And if I can't speak to you with love, I can't be around you right now until I heal what's going on. So that's what I'm learning. Boundaries.
Yes. Yes. Boundaries and love, man.
Yes.
Boundaries and love. It's the miracle juice, I promise you.
Yes. Yes.
In your book, you mentioned when you were a child and you used to find your escape by watching movies and reciting them for family members. So what sort of movies did you enjoy the most? And looking back, would you say this was a safe and innocent coping mechanism for handling your feelings at the time?
I would say Bodyguard, especially Whitney Houston. That was my role model. I love Whitney Houston. And yeah, I love to, I always loved to role play because I wanted to be an actress when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things, that's where I get where, you know, I can play. I used to do different type of voices that other people would make, like Eddie Murphy or even the Clumps and things like that. So yeah, I loved it. However, with the time frame, I used to get those movies for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And recently I just found out that it wasn't healthy for me because under 10 years old, watching What's Love Got to Do with It, watching Bodyguard, Single White Female, that's not appropriate for a child under 10 years old.
Right.
So, no, I don't think that it was beneficial. I think it made me more mature than what I should have been.
I see.
You know, and looking back, I don't think my parents knew what they were doing, but it was kind of like, hey, go watch this because we got church, or we got to do this, or we're doing something for church. And it wasn't healthy for me or my sibling, you know, so no, I don't think you would allow any of your kids to watch something explicit like that, like rated R movies, you know, under 10. But I don't regret it. But now I understand. And that's one of the traumas I had to heal. Like, hey, it wasn't your fault. You know, it's okay. But how can you not repeat that mistakes with your daughters? Because I have daughters now. Mm-hmm. And now I'm looking like, is it PG-13? Or is it general audiences and stuff like that? So, yeah, I think that really hindered me a lot. And that's how I became a teen mom, you know, and nobody knew. And that's the crazy part. Like my family, they didn't even know how I was feeling, you know, because you normally have your mom to tell you if you're feeling like that, not judge you, but how are you supposed to deal with those kind of emotions, especially if you're being exposed to things like that. And I think that's one of the things that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and especially nowadays, my goodness, we got kids with tablets and cell phones and things like that. So I can only imagine y'all as parents, y'all working double time, triple time, quadruple time. My goodness.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
And in your book, you talk about struggling with fitting in with neighbors and some kids at school. So what do you think? Why do you think that you were having such a hard time back then?
I was trying to fit in and trying to be like other kids. I would try to, you know, make sure that this friend likes me. Even though they don't like this friend, I'll still try to bring them together. But then I still get in the middle of the crossfire. Oh, well, you being two-faced. Oh, you been there. And really, I was just telling the truth. but we're young. We don't want to hear that type of truth and things like that. So, and then I would hear things like church, like what other church members would say from my parents. And I go back and repeat it because I didn't know that, hey, that's not good or you shouldn't say that or anything like that. I'm just hearing the gossip and I'm like, hey, did you know that this happened? Oh, I feel bad about this, not knowing that was something personal they didn't want everybody to know. So a lot of them didn't like me, especially because my dad was the head deacon, and he was doing things with, have to fire certain people within the church. And that's when my godfather, that he came in, he actually got fired,
Oh, wow.
And and that was like the first breaking of my whole world. Like, dang, at first I saw them and, my godmother was taking me to school and now she's not taking me. Did I do something wrong? I'm a kid. I don't know what's going on, so yeah, that was a lot. And then, other kids didn't want to hang with me because of that. Now at school, I just wanted to be a part of the crowd. I didn't know that just being myself, I would, gravitate to, other people would gravitate to me. I just thought, hey, you got to do this or you have to talk about this person in order to be cool, So I was just learning. It was just self-learning.
Yeah. I mean, looking back now, it's like, dang it, I wish I had a time machine. I could go back and tell myself, don't worry about what other people think,
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And it's hard for even the kids now. Like I have to, instead of getting on my daughters so hard like I used to, I had to calm down within myself and say, hey, you remember what you did and you remember how you were growing up. It's like 10 times worse. She's just trying to fit in. Tell her that you love her. Tell her that she can come to you and talk about anything. Open that line of communication, because especially my oldest, she's 14 years old. And I have caught her watching, like Cinderella, and that's one of the things she's into. So she's into boys. Okay, well, we need to sit down. What do you know about that? What don't you like? And that's really what I think what was missing with me and my mother. I didn't have that time to like, hey, how do you feel about this boy? Or you shouldn't just get your feelings all up in the bench with this. And, like, it was so much that I wish my mom would have told me a lot more. However, I can do that for my kids. So that was a big self-reflection and coming to tell my daughter because I just started healing. But coming to tell my daughter, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry that I actually was angry at the things that you were doing when you didn't know because I wasn't there. And when I started doing that, our relationship started getting better. I'm starting to see a change. It was like, wow, okay, I can't go back to that old person. No, I need to take that time out and say, hey, it's okay for you to make mistakes, but how can you learn from it and not judge her? So, yeah.
And so do you think leaving the background of not just focusing just on your beliefs, but just focusing on life in front of you has helped you to learn all these life lessons that you've been learning thus far?
Definitely. Because I almost lost my husband.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, it was, hey, you need to get it together because I can't keep being disrespected. And that's one of the things, even with men, I'm more compassionate with men because I didn't know the amount of things that they had to go through, on a day-to-day basis. And allowing my dad because he was in our relationship, it was heavy. And I had to make a decision. Do I really want, like, my past relationships to be like my dad, or do I want to step out on faith and just say, hey, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know my husband. I want to start hearing, how he sounds if he's mad or if he's frustrated. When, don't let the kids come up to him when he first comes in, and just bombard him with questions. The simple things, have a smile when he walks in the door because they feel that, you know? And then even with our kids, like, our kids is just learning what makes them tick, learning how their emotions are. I had to step away from all of that because I had to get to know my husband and my children. And it came to a realization, hey, every day you go to sleep and you wake up, that's a different person.
Yeah.
Every day. So you have to relearn that person. They may not be the same one that they went to sleep with. That they went to sleep. They may be a different person when they wake up. So it was all a learning process. And I have to say, with the passing of my sister, that really, like, hey, you got to get it together.
Yeah.
And that was, and it was a big thing for me. It was a big thing. And I was like, no, I'm not going to lose my husband. I'm not going to lose my kids. I need to heal. Yes. I really do.
And y'all are like superheroes, you know what I'm saying? Like you like triple superhero because you're a mother, you're a wife, parent. It's those things are not easy. Like some people today may think, oh, I'm just going to get in a relationship and maybe we'll stay together. We'll see, or, oh, well, I'm pregnant again. No, it's okay. It'll be fine. I worked it out. No, it's not just an investment. It is a person.
Yeah, it's life.
And I commend y'all because you're working all over the world, to making sure that you have a relationship with your children, with your husband, with yourself. That's not easy.
Yes, yes, it is. It is a struggle every day. Well, not a struggle every day, but it's mentally. Like you have to make every day a great day. And that's one thing. That's one of the things that, I'm grateful for my husband. He taught me because he was in football. Hey, you got to create it. You have to work hard every day. You can't take off. You have to keep going no matter what. I did. I wanted to quit, after my sister passed. And then in April, right after I published my book, my cousin/brother passed, so it was like, boom, it just kept hitting me. And he was only 35.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She was 41. And one thing my husband kept saying, hey, you got to keep going. No matter what, like, it's going to be okay. You're living for them. Like, you're here for a reason. And that's one of the things that helped me out because with my ancestors, and that's what I know now, like my ancestors, they chose me here for a reason. What life path am I here for? Like, what is the journey that I'm supposed to be here for? Because I spent 30 years trying to go the way that my parents wanted me to go. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, no, I need to choose my own path. I surrender. Like, what is it that I need to do in order to, to be happy?
Yes.
And that is, I always love to help people. Like I said, I love to make other people laugh. I love, if you're in a room, if you're looking sad, I'm gonna say something to make you smile. I'm gonna find out what makes you laugh. That's just me. But I couldn't thrive in that type of environment where I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a millionaire to be rich. You don't need to eat a whole chocolate cake to be full. Okay? Like, there's fulfillment in so many different ways.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so in your book, you mentioned that you keep mentioning individuals who you refer to as, I didn't know that the grass could be greener once I let go of the church. Were you referring to specific individuals in that phrasing or?
Yeah. It was basically my parents.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, church is wonderful, especially for, people that are trying to seek like their higher purpose. Yes, whatever religion you're in that's going to make you a better person. Yes, do it, but just for me and how I was raised, it hindered me a lot, especially, and like I said, my parents, they, I love them. I love them a lot. They taught me as far as what they could have known, but they didn't have they didn't have the correct teaching. It's like they were, they're like the lost generation, after my grandmother passed, that's when the family basically deteriorated, and, I was touched on, and, my sister was touched on, but, we got judged and we had to retract our stories. And it's like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's really, and I told my parents, I told them, I even had them on the phone to try to trap the guy that actually did it. And, just stay away from him, but I still had to go to church. I still had to, because my dad actually ended up becoming a pastor, you know, and making us go to church, even when we was in our 20s and our 30s. Hey, no. Every day you got to go to church because you stay in my house. Okay. You know, even though I still did my own thing, that's what my sister, you know, that tripped her up, you know, and it's like, no, I have to speak my truth. Like, I can't be like that. I've never been like that. I've always known that I was different because I didn't like being judged, and that's why I didn't judge others, you know. And then one of the key things that is in my book, I did have 2 white friends. And my dad told me, hey, no, you can't hang around them, you know, because of his background. And that really hurt me because their dad actually took me under under his wing. And it was fun. You know, we even went to Disney World with the 5th grade class. It was just our 5th grade class. And the mother showed me nothing but love, you know, and that she actually learned from me. She told me, she said, wow, like you're really respectful. You know, I wish my kids could be more like that. And just to be torn away from that, it really hurt me, you know, and just being judged by that. And that's when I just saw, like, friends, it started going downhill. It really did. And I was like, ugh, I got to do something. I got to do something that'll change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to be punny, but, you know, don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be really small, but it could have gold in that sucker. And it could be really thick and have nothing but rubbish, you know?
Yes.
So.
Yes. But that was the most fun I ever had as being a child. Like, Mr. Anderson, I can, you know, I found out he passed away, but he told all of us, he said, hey, y'all get in the back of the truck. And I didn't know nothing about donuts in the field. And it had just finished raining a little bit, you know, and he took us out to the field. You know, of course, I couldn't tell my dad that, but he was just doing donuts. That was the most fun I had outside of, you know, church and being with friends, authentic, real friends. So that was like, wow, I want this all the time. Like, Dad, why you can't do that?
Yeah.
You know? And then too, I didn't know that, you know, holidays and things like that, like Valentine's Day. Just recently found this out. We starting to do something different with our daughters. Like, my husband, he'll ask my daughters, hey, let's go out, or he'll get them something, just like a flower or something like that. Those little things actually lead up to big things, you know, for girls, even for boys at the time. But it was like, I never had that. You know, I would go and shop for, you know, my mom, but that's where I was learning, like, hey, you give. And I never learned how to receive. Like, it was hard to start receiving, you know, help.
Yeah.
Just asking for help because I didn't know how to, you know, so. Just wanted to say that because that was also, I had to learn that, you know, within writing this book. Like, hey, you know, you don't know how to ask for help, you know, or accept help. You know, I'll be like, nah, I got it. I'll do it. I was so masculine, and it's like, nope, I don't want your help. I can find it on my own. Until I had to, you know, be taught, hey, you got to sit down. We need to teach you some things.
Hey, soldier, lieutenant, general, captain, everybody needs a crew. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs a crew, no matter how talented and gifted that they are.
Yes.
And so you also talked about how you purposely were failing the test on occasion so you could join the tutoring program. So what was it about the tutoring program that you liked, preferred over the regular school?
It was at, like, the people that came for tutoring, they worked at Texaco. It was right off 610 and like Bel Air. Well, whenever we would go, we would always go to the nice corporate offices. They would feed us like in a big buffet cafeteria while we're learning. And I'm like, whoa, I like this. And then come to find out, I passed my test because I just wanted to go out and, you know, outside of school. I might have had ADHD. I didn't know because I didn't like sitting in a classroom. I always watched the time like, oh, I got to get out of here. But when I was sitting in those higher up offices, it's like, hey, I can do this. I'm asking them, what do you do? You know? And so that was just, it was just the experience, just getting out there, meeting different people from different backgrounds, different cultures, and they don't mind helping you. Oh, you don't know how to do this test? Okay, I can help you with this math, or I can help you with the reading and things like that. And it's like, okay. Yeah, so that was just, it was fun for me. It was fun.
Yeah, I know a thing about, transferring from your traditional public school to doing like much more smaller groups. And I mean, for me, it was beneficial too, because less distractions.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes, when you have 30 students in a room, you don't have the same opportunity to learn as everybody else.
Right. And then even with when I went in 4th grade, we kept having different teachers. I think within a year we had over 10 teachers.
Wow.
Because our class was so bad, we would actually run off different teachers and things like that. So nobody was learning, at that time. Nobody was learning. So like, man, I'm tired of this. I want to do something different.
Isn't that crazy that you being a teenager, a young adult, and then it's like you're doing more success in a corporate office, It's like you hadn't even gotten a real paid job yet, but you're more comfortable there. What does that say, man?
Yes. It was just the curriculum, I was bored. I was bored out of my mind, But 5th grade, I had something to look forward to, which was going to Disney World. That was my first time ever being out of Texas. And at that time, my siblings didn't even go out. Somebody actually sponsored me to go, and just having that experience, because when I went to Disney World, I didn't think about myself. I just said, man, this is magical. This is wonderful. I got every one of my family members something, from Disney World, and I brought it back because I said, it's not fair for me to have all this fun. I want to bring them something back.
Right.
So that was just like, wow. And that's when I thought about that. I said, I love being a humanitarian. I love helping others. That's my gift, so that's how I healed from that. That's when I started like, hey, let's get into something that can help others, Tell your story.
Indeed. Because you don't like you're seeing here, you don't need a big old fancy studio to pull it off. You know what I'm saying? You just need the right tools, the right energy, and bam.
Yes. The right people. Like I've been blessed, like really, really blessed. And I really do thank you. Like this is just a great opportunity.
No, thank you for sharing your time with us, because I don't take that for granted. Time is precious.
Right.
It may be relevant, but it's still precious.
Right.
Precious as gold.
Yes.
And so how did you feel once you finished writing this book? And did you feel like you finally closed a chapter of your life?
No. I'm actually working on the second book because I had to take a break. It was mentally draining. So no, I don't feel at all that is done at all.
It's a continued work in progress?
Yes. That was only until my 20s.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's just a prelude of more experiences.
To come. Yeah.
Wow.
And it gets way more in depth.
Wow.
Way more in depth.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it going to be this next book that you're writing going to be kind of like a second part to accompany the first book?
Yes.
Excellent. And will it be available on the same platforms, Amazon and such?
Yes. So I just did the book, like the paperback, will be available for the first book within this week. And then the second part, I'm trying to finish it before the year is out, so I can get that out there. I also have a children's book that I finished, which was helping my youngest daughter because she was close to my sister. So just helping her through her grieving process. And that was a big thing too. So in between this book, I was actually trying to figure out, okay, how can I help Skylar? Because it hurt her, the first Nana was here and now she's not here, so I had to do something that would help both of us. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. And kids reading books makes my heart sore, because I used to have a whole library when I was a kid, back when all I had was a Game Boy. I would stay up, not watching TV, Not watching Xena or Hercules, but reading books, okay? I read about Lou Gehrig disease I don't know how many times.
Wow.
But just because I wanted to read.
And I never liked reading.
Yeah.
I never liked writing. And now it's like, look what you did. you know? So I didn't understand. I was like, why do y'all have books when you have television? It's the greatest thing. But now I see it's way more in depth. Way more in depth with a lot of information that you don't know. And when I finally read my first book, which was last year, that was big. I was all interested in it because I'm like, I just want to change. Okay, she said she can do it, and I forgot who I read, but yeah, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is cool.
Yes.
Just reading.
It really is, man. I mean, I can talk about reading all day. Yes. And so how has your feedback been thus far from your book? And have you heard back from mostly strangers, or have you heard back from people that know you as well?
One person that knew me, I finally just put it out for, my family to see. They haven't responded at all. They haven't liked, the post that I put up. But a lot of other people saying, hey, this is really cool. Like you really got something going here. So I was like, at first I was like, I don't know if people would like what I have to say. And it's like, yeah, you do have something to say because I'm getting some positive feedback from it. So yeah, but as far as family, no.
And I mean, that's going to happen sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's good to know that you're reaching out to people who don't even know you personally. And they're like, hey, this is helpful to me. Yes. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that have felt this way at some point in time. Right.
Yeah. I wanted to do it like that because I wanted to just see, just not have judgments because I know that it was a lot of things that, my parents wouldn't have liked it. Probably my siblings wouldn't have liked. But it was my truth. But I wanted to test and see how would people away from, knowing me and really don't know me, how would they respond to it? And I actually got really, really good feedback from it. So after that, I was like, forget it, put it out there. Like I don't care anymore. That was that inner Chanequa, like that young Chanequa, like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get in trouble? And I had to just sit back and say, what's the worst that could happen? You're not gonna get a whooping.
Yeah.
But that's that trauma. That's what my mind goes back to because I used to be so scared. So yeah.
And it takes a lot of bravery and a lot of heart, to share something so personal with people. And, and just regardless of like, well, if you don't like it, that's, tough noogies. But, there's people that can really need to benefit from hearing this.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And so today you are a wife, you're a mother, you're a published author and an entrepreneur. And how has your immediate family responded to you sharing your book?
Yeah, like I said, they haven't said anything. But I know I'm making, my family proud, my husband proud, my children, and that's really what matters. My community that actually support me, they're happy. They're like, yes, like you finally did it, So that's all really that matters because I'm done with the judgments. I'm done with, hey, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. I'm doing it, So, and that's really where I'm at with that portion. Is wonderful. Like I'm loving it. I'm walking my own path, So.
And I'm sure your family, your kids and your husband are proud of you for getting this book out, and doing stuff for your self-healing and for your own mental health.
Yes. Yeah. It's more peace in the house. It's way more peace. And I mean, you should have seen like the first time, like I said, the first time I actually went to my husband, I actually cried because the way I treated him. And it was that bad. And to see from last year to this year, it's like, wow, you did a full 180. Like, it's more peace in the house. My daughter was scared. Like, this whole summer has been a teachable summer. She was scared to come to me about certain things, certain mistakes. She said, I thought you were going to judge. I said, let me tell you something. I've been judged my whole life. I said, you're going to make mistakes, but I want to help you learn from it. And she was like, what? was like, I don't know, let me see. But I have to understand, I have to take that time because what did I create beforehand? That takes time. Even with me, I can understand, when my family come back in my life, it's going to take some time to get us back to where we were, but the thing is we're trying, trying to be the best that we can be every day.
Indeed. And I see that on your Instagram too. You also do a lot of stuff about health, fitness, and things like that to make sure your body and your mind are staying healthy while you're going on this journey.
Yes. So I still do a little bit of journaling just to, just in case somebody, they don't know. Like I said, a lot of the judgments that I've encountered, with being, gay and things like that. And because even in my book, I've actually encountered, being with a girl and it was actually in church, so having that type of judgment, it's like, no. And I actually encountered a lot of people from that community, transgender, so many people, they've been shunned off. And it's like, no, you are loved. Like, you're here for a reason. Like, don't think that just because you're in a certain community, that's it for you. Like, no, you have your own community. You're here. You have your own path. Your path might be for you to get out of where you at and get into another space and start loving on other people, because it is people out there. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that other people, they would love to have, that type of energy. And that's what I'm learning now. Even with energy, I can feel different people's energy, different vibes. You'll know when you're in the right place. And I definitely wanted to put that out there because, hey, we all make mistakes, or we all have to, I wouldn't say mistakes. We all have life lessons.
Yes.
You either like it, or you like, nah, I don't want to go that way. I'm gonna go over here. I feel more comfortable over here. But don't feel bad about it, because you have to learn from that. You have to heal from that. Indeed.
Just because you don't eat your vegetables does not mean that you don't live a healthy lifestyle, okay? You are totally fine.
Yes. Yeah, because I was big most of my life. I used to go fat and all of this type of stuff. I never thought I'd be a wife, I was told, like, hey, if you don't lose weight, you're not going to have a husband and things. Man, I got a husband, I got kids, like, I'm wanted, so that's not true. Yeah. And I definitely want to let the younger generation know, because I see that even with my daughter, when she says things, she's all about love. It's my fortune. She loves other people. She loves, like, my age music. And that's why I teach her, hey, if you see somebody down and they don't look all the way up there, they're not popular, just say, hey, I like your shoes, or hey, I like what you have on. They will remember that for the rest of their life. And you're making an impact, and that karma comes right back to you, so yeah, it's been a lot that I've learned. It's been a lot just in a couple span of months.
Indeed. I mean, love is like the most powerful energy on the planet, man. It can overcome hate. It can overcome fear. It can overcome logic too sometimes, but hey, we'll save that for the next podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And so you also, aside from being an author, you have your business, Soapy Budz. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So it's an all natural product where we sell soaps. I actually use the soaps for body and hair and face. We also have lotions that's all natural. One of the biggest things that we use is sea moss. We have products with hibiscus, butterfly pea. It's great for your skin. It's great, like, especially for my kids. They had eczema. And when I switched from the store products, like in Walmart, to our all natural products, which we have manufacturers. And I do want to shout out Samaya Prajin. She's the one who makes the soaps and the lotions. And she's just very, very gifted. And when she made that, I was like, wow, this really helped my daughter. And this is where I was like, hey, we need to come together. We can help each other out. And that's when I started building a community, just like building a family. So yeah, our all natural soaps, is wonderful. I can say that much. I know my husband gonna give me, because I don't know all into, I'm the business side. But it is great. Red clay, yes, I want to put that. Yeah, all of our soaps are like all natural. Is no type of chemicals or anything like that. So.
Excellent. And thank you guys for letting me have some samples to try. I am so ready. I'm about to take 2-3 showers today. I will smell so good and fresh and clean. I mean, yeah, because I know I have sensitive skin. So that acidic stuff that's in the store product things, it's just rough.
Right.
Man.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're going to put in the comments where you can go and follow Miss Chanequa and learn about Soapy Budz and to check out her book, which is now available on Amazon. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly thankful for this opportunity. Thank you.
No, thank you, because sharing your time and your experience, not just with me, but with the listeners is something that we all need right now.
Right. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening this week. And we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.